My name is Amanda Canady, and I'm the Director of Client Delivery here at Ntracts. Today, what I'm going to be going over is our implementation roadmap, where I'm going to talk about really the highlights of what we're going to do in your implementation process when you get to work with one of our implementation consultants here at Ntracts. From the very beginning of the project, when we do our kickoff with your project team there at your organization, we're going to be walking hand in hand with your organization to identify all of the key components that are going to help make this implementation a success. The most important thing that we do at the very beginning is kicking off the data piece of your project. We want to walk the very beginning part of the project focusing on the data because we want to make sure that all the data that we're putting in is good data. We have two different ways that we go about this. Some clients use our data services team, which is an amazing, knowledgeable team that helps actually abstract those key data elements from your system to build a contract record within the Ntracts platform. Some clients are coming from another solution or an Excel SharePoint solution where we are able to get that data and build it into the Ntracts platform. Both of those are going to have the component though of us creating system attributes that are going to be applicable and going to be used throughout your Ntracts platform. So in that, we might want to be looking at the way that you have your departments or your contract types structured in your current solution or Excel workbook. Is there anything that we want to do to make sure that when we bring this over, we have the perfect permissions in place, people are able to see the contracts that fall within their wheelhouse, and then also any of those contracts that we have, any specific data that we would like to report on outside of Ntracts. As we're building your system attributes and we're walking through that, we're also going to be looking at those client-defined fields. We at Ntracts here are subject matter experts on what you want to be capturing on your contract record. However, we understand that there are some of those different elements that your organization may want to be able to report on and capture on your contract record. So we'll provide you with a list of contract record fields that are just going to be standard in the solution. And then from there, we'll have workshops where we're going to start to digest those. And you'll be able to say, hey, let's remove that one, but we want to add this one for our organization. So through that process, we are really making your platform your own, and it will scream your healthcare organization by the end of it. From there, once we get your system built, we will continue to work through data as we'll have a very first data load in your proof of concept site to make sure that you all are able to log in, access, and get your hands dirty in the proof of concept, getting to play with what your environment will look like at the end of it. In that process, we are also going to load a subset of your data. It's going to give you that opportunity to see how your data is brought over into the Ntracts platform, but then also to be able to give some validation and feedback. There might be some things that once you get it brought over, you want to adjust the way that it's brought over. We might want to change the name of a field. We might want to change where we're bringing it into and not move it to a certain field, but move it to another field. During that process, your team gets to validate that and provide feedback so that when we load it into your primary live environment that all your end users are going to be utilizing, we have it perfect. That's going to be your proof of concept load. From there, your team is going to start in the workflow implementation. This is where things get really fun. We have a system workflow that really allows for your organization to have the flexibility to add in approvers, reviewers, additional people as needed. It is our very standard workflow, but it has that flexibility to where it's really a catch-all for any workflow or contract record that might not fall in within a configurable workflow. That system workflow, we have a standard intake form that we're able to configure with you to add some of your client-defined fields or fields that you would like to be answered on an intake from an end user requesting a workflow and contract. And from there, we'll be able to build some of those standard pieces and participants within it. An additional piece that we have is our configurable workflows. Within our configurable workflows, we are going to be able to build participants and have workflows route to them always. So we might look at real estate agreements, they always need to go to this participant as an approver. Or we might want to look at all of these vendor workflows. However, depending on the dollar amount, it might depend on who needs to be approving it. So up to a certain dollar amount, this person needs to approve it. However, if we add an additional dollar amount and it goes a little bit higher, we need 2 people approving that dollar amount. So these are pieces in the configurable workflow that we are able to hardwire into it for you to be able to make sure that all of your business processes that you have are being met within your workflows in the Ntracts platform. Another wonderful addition is our document automation. So you have those templates that you use time over time. You've got that physician employment agreement. Nothing really changes in that physician employment language-wise. However, every time you have to update the location that they're practicing at, the physician's name, their specialty, how long the agreement is for, effective date, expiration date, information like that. We are able to build that into your platform so that when those questions are answered, it will populate that template, inputting all of those key data elements into your document. That's going to allow you to save time every time that that contract is used. In the configurable workflows, another great piece is everything that we have and you're capturing in these workflows is reportable. So say you have something and you want to know every contract that requires an IT risk assessment. You would be able to then go into your Ntracts platform, pull a report on any and every contract within the platform that requires the IT risk assessment. From there, you would be able to give that report to anybody that needed to see it. Additionally, you can schedule those reports to be able to be sent to your inbox the first of the month. Or maybe you want to say, hey, I want to see every contract that's expiring in the next 90 days. You can have that report scheduled too. So every month on the first of the month, the next contracts that would fall within that would be brought into the report and delivered straight to your email inbox. Additional things that we implement for your organization is our performance evaluation workflow. We have best practice questions that we use and we build upon for your organization needs to make sure that we are meeting all of the Joint Commission requirements that you would like. It's going to happen immediately for all of your end users and your contract owners into their notification center in the Ntracts platform. They'll receive that on the date identified on the contract record, and they'll be able to answer all of the questions in their notification center, answering if that vendor has met all of the performance requirements that were laid out in the contract. Additionally, we have a great piece built in, so if a contract record with a vendor does require remediation, it is able to be sent back to them, additional information captured. You also would be able to upload any supporting documentation that you may have from the vendor, whether it's emails on file that you have or anything along those lines, and then it would be able to be sent back to your system validator to be able to decide what those next steps are with that vendor. While we are building your workflows, all of this is going to be happening in real time in your proof of concept environment. Just like your data, when you get to validate your data in our environment, you're also going to be able to validate your workflows. This is going to give your organization the opportunity to take some real contracts through the Ntracts proof of concept site. You'll be able to see exactly how that contract's going to flow and route, and make sure in the proof of concept site that you are checking all of the boxes that are laid out for your organization, along with the Ntracts best practices that we have here. One of the great parts of the proof of concept site is being able to sit in a round table, walk through a workflow, and see that it routes from me, the initiator, to my gatekeeper to approve that request. And then from there, making sure that because of the dollar amount, it routes to a participant ABC to be able to approve that. After that, because of maybe the IT risk assessment, we're making sure that this person's brought in. And so we will sit in either teams, sometimes we do these on site, and do round robins where we're able to walk through and make sure and check box every single thing that's happening in that workflow in your proof of concept site. Once we get your workflow to the place that you say we have accomplished what we had at hand, we will then be able to schedule and look at the calendar to make sure that we're meeting all of your needs and make sure that we've got the project timeline in front of us, but to schedule our push to production. Again, at that push to production, we will do another final pull of your data, whether it's from another solution or you all have enough updated Excel workbook, we will get the latest and greatest data so that when we go live, any new contracts that have been put in process or any amendments, renewals, those are captured when we load into your primary environment. From there, we will go live with your data and your workflows possibly at the same time to make sure that we have a system rollout. You'll be working really closely with your implementation consultant for also the training. Once we have training scheduled with your organization, you'll work with one of our amazing Ntracts trainers to make sure that everybody from the very first person that's going to be submitting a request to any of your approvers, reviewers are going to be trained and able to complete their task within the Ntracts solution. After training, we are going to be working with a lead in the stabilization process. Our implementation consultants here at Ntracts love working with your healthcare organizations. We love getting to work with you to decide how you're going to use the platform, how we can help meet your needs, and what we can do to make your process smoother at your organization. We look forward to working with you in the future, and please let us know if there's anything that we can ever do to help. Thank you.